Welcome back to SoFlo RcLife. This is Justin here with you. Today's video is going to be on how to build a trailer for your rig. Now I built the boat trailer already. This is my very first trailer that I built here, and it turned out very well. It's very functional. We're going to build a flatbed trailer, and I thought I'd take you along. So what you're going to need is a tape measure, something to mark with, pencil or Sharpie, something to cut the aluminum with. You can use a cutting wheel, hacksaw. The first trailer I built with the boat trailer, I used a hacksaw for the whole project. So aluminum's a soft metal. You shouldn't have any issues with that. Next, you're going to need a drill with the appropriate size bit, and you can go three different methods. You can go rivet gun with rivets, which I personally like better than this method, because you're going to have to find the appropriate size bolts, to secure everything together. So the third method, you could, which I don't have any experience in, so we're not going to go there yet, but you can hot weld aluminum basically with a torch, I believe it is, and the little melting rods. Looks pretty easy, but like I said, we're not going to do that. We're just going to go the rivet style. All right, let's get into it. Now this is probably about the biggest thing that I'll ever put on a trailer. I also have the tank here that I could put on a trailer, but this is definitely the widest. So I'm going to use this as a reference. I think I might want a little space up front for some accessories, maybe like a tire rack or something with some gas tanks. So let's say 24 inches, 2 foot. So we're going to go 2 foot long. Let's do 13 and a half. It gives us a little extra playroom. All right. All right, so those are the numbers that we're going to be working with. So let's start cutting this aluminum, and I'll be right back. Okay, so one thing I wanted to point out was the aluminum that I bought for the project. I bought one angled aluminum that's 8 foot long, so you're going to need one of those, and a flat bar aluminum. Now these are the specs right here. All right, this one here is going to be for the support brackets in the middle to give it a little bit of integrity. All right, so now that I got my pieces cut for the frame, we're going to go ahead and take our file and sand down the edges. This is something I think I forgot to mention in the beginning of the video, but you're going to need a file as well. So I'm going to go ahead and file these edges down, and we'll be right back. All right, now that I got the filing out of the way, we can go ahead and start tacking this thing together. The filing really does come in handy for not only getting a nice smooth surface so you don't have any burrs, but also you want each piece that's going together to be as identical as you can as far as the length. That's going to give you a nice, solid, straight framing to work with. All right, let's get these things tacked together. We got it all cut. After cutting it and kind of tacking it together temporarily with the clips, it looks rather large. So I think I'd rather have the tires hang over on each side a little bit, just to keep the trailer a little bit more of a scaled look, because that's very, very wide. So I think let's go 11 inches. Yeah, I think let's do 11.5 inches just to be safe, and we'll see how that looks. So note 11 3/8 wide. That's how wide I put the measurements, and as you can see, it still fits. It actually gives it a better appearance. It complements the monster truck, in my opinion, with it hanging off the sides like that. And the trailer itself is gonna look more scaled. All right, now is where the magic comes in. So we're gonna take one of these clips off, and we're gonna put a tack right there. For those of you who have not used these, basically what it does, essentially what you're doing is, when you put the pin into the tool, once you start squeezing it, it usually gives about 2 to 3 pulls, and it compresses this metal down here, which sandwiches your part together. All right, so once you got it in there, and you just want to make sure that this is as flat as it could be. You have one, and then release, and then the second one should pop, and then you'll have that left over. You can throw that away, and now you have one piece that's nice and tight. All right, so we're gonna do the other 4 sides. I'm not gonna let you stick around for that. I'll be right back. All right, we got 3 of the 4 sides done. Looking really nice so far. So let's get this last one in. Now, it is very important to get rid of the burr on the bottom, because when you're using this, you want a nice tight seal, and what's left behind after drilling can be very easily removed with a file. And we now have our frame to work with. So next, let's get that flat piece of bar aluminum. All right, so we're just gonna, this is just over 11 inches wide. So this right here is 36 inches long. So we do have enough material from this one piece to make 3 cross braces. So let's go ahead and use up the material that we bought. We'll make 3 just to be safe for the weight. Okay, now that we got our 3 pieces cut, so I put a mark 1 foot, so that splits it right in half. So we'll have one of those right in the middle. And then from there, you have a foot. So I split it in half. I got 6 inches. And the same on this side. So now we have a nice support system for pretty much anything that you can probably fit on this thing. So now let's tack it all together and we'll be right back. All right, we're on our last bar here. Okay, we're looking good. Let me get you guys over here. So we now have a very solid foundation for a flatbed trailer, and it's very light. All right, let's move on. Next, we're going to start making our attachment that you're going to have the leftover pieces from your angles. So now this comes down to personal preference. You can make this as short or as long as you'd like. Once you get how far you like this out, once you get that figured out, what we're going to do is we're going to make a couple lines right here, 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 and here. And we're going to cut those out, those little notches, and it'll sit flat up against the rest of the frame. There you go. I finished this side here. I started this side. We got 2 more, and then this will be secure. Alright, so for this part, what I'm using is a very thick piece of plastic. You could probably use thin metal as well, just something that's easy to cut, but still durable. The size that I got was, you want to go wide enough to cover both axles, and you want to go tall enough where the size of your spring completely opened up is about about as tall as it's going to be. So for example, over here, this shock is going to be attached up here and the bottom up to the axle. So as it's traveling back and forth like so, what we're going to do is we're going to cut a slit right in here so the axle can't move side to side but only up and down. I started a mark with it fully open, as you can see right here, and I ended the mark with it fully closed right there. So that's all that is going to be allowed for the axle to travel up and down. Alright, so now that I have my pieces tacked onto the frame here, you can go ahead and grab an axle and line it up so you have the same exact amount of space on both sides. Then you're going to make a mark on the axle on the inside of each of these. That mark is where you're going to install your lock washer, or I'm sorry, your lock nut, and you can add a washer if you like. What that's going to do is that's going to keep your axle from sliding around. And then after you're done with that, both axles, we can start working on the suspension, but I just want to give you an idea of what's going on here. So that slit that we cut, now check this out. We have independent suspension on each wheel. Alright, well, now that I have all four corners installed, I just want to give each one a little test to make sure it's not snagging on anything. So once you're good to go, you can start making your notches. For this, I want to make little notches that this will just fall right into right here. So for example, right where that dot is, I'm going to take my Dremel, notch that out, and this is just going to fall right into place. Same thing all around. Now if your brackets are not close enough, you can do what I did here and just tack on a little extra piece. You're not really going to see nothing from the other side, because once we put that mesh or the wood, a lot of that's going to be covered up anyways. Another thing I wanted to point out was if you don't have lock nuts, you can use zip ties. I use the zip tie to hold the shock in place, and it works great. Alright, now comes the time to choose what you want to put on the top. You could do metal plank, or I'm sorry, wood planks with little pieces of metal in between, or you could do the screen, the mesh. This is the route that I'm going to take. So I'm just gonna trace out a piece and we'll tack her on. Okay, now that we have our piece cut and ready to go on, grab yourself some small washers and your rivets, and we're just going to start tacking it wherever you think could use it, and then we'll throw on the fenders. Alright guys, so if you made it this far, you're already going to know how to make this. It's just getting some of your flat aluminum. You're going to frame out the size of gate that you want, or two individual for the tire. I'm doing a whole piece because I'll be using the tank as well. So I need the whole section. But after you do that, you get yourself some little hinges. They come even smaller than that. And then for me, I need this sticking out so I can clear the tires when I'm driving up and down it. So this is gonna be my gate brace. All right. So after the gate brace is installed, I want to put a little trailer license plate on the back here to utilize that side as well. All right, let's finish up. So after you got your two pieces ready to be installed, before you tack both of these down, what you're going to want to do is make your two pieces, right, that's going to attach to the side here. And when you put the rivet, if you're using rivet, after you put the rivet, spray a little bit of a WD-40 in there to loosen it up so it moves around. All right. Then you're going to tack one side down, secure, and then we're going to attach this to there, and with the trailer gate down, you're going to find the longest point, and that's where you're going to tack it down here. Because when the trailer gate folds up, this is going to compress, and it should stay something like that. All right, let's get to it. All right, there we have it. Tailgate's all finished. You could finish up with a couple accessories if you like. Something like that maybe, or even a tire rack up front. That would be pretty cool. Don't forget, guys, if this was helpful, give it a thumbs up. As always, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, guys.